Good morning, everyone. So today we'll be doing the weekly town hall meeting for February 4th. The agenda for today is project and development updates, marketing updates, collaboration updates, and question and answers. So we start with the project and development updates. Bobinson.
Yeah. Hi. Thank you. So I don't have control to the screen, so can you go to the first? Yeah. So one of the major items we wanted to do this week was the demo of the Bitcoin deposit on the mainnet. But looks like the demo is not yet, the setup is not yet completed, and we will try to do this hopefully next week. So one of the QA team members is trying to uh, set this up, and hopefully next week we'll have this done. So this is one of our most important items. So that's why I thought of putting the screen here, even though the demo is not exactly ready. So let's go to the next slide. Now, the rest of the update. Uh, the first one is the DexUI preview release, where our major focus is to get the Hive and HBD withdrawals. So those screens are we were supposed to, again, these screens are delayed. We were supposed to get this completed last month. Hopefully, it was essentially by Jan 15th or so, but this is also kind of delayed. So this is also blocking our new release to the Dex UI. So we have 0.70 released, but after that we have a lot of these upgrades to the JS and quite a few bug fixes. But we were waiting on this Hive and HPD screens to be completed so that we can do the next release. But it looks like we'll have to do the release without these screens because there's a large set of updates being pending right now. So let's go to the next slide. Yeah. So these are oh yeah. Now another major point is when we look into the Dex UI's tickets, there are a lot of items missing. So this is again one item we've been trying to fix or improve for a very long time, but now we need to take this as a public action item and work on it. So the details have been listed here. So, but essentially, what's happening is we have issues and we have issues or GitLab tickets where we mention, let's say, features. We have bugs, etc. Now these bugs, the developers works on the bugs or the features, and it gets released. Now the what is missing here is that we have absolutely no traceability into when we look into any of the tickets, there is no traceability into which release the fix has gone into. That is missing. Now, secondly, when after the QA is done, at least the QA is expected to provide additional information like which was the build, which was the UI build, or which was the blockchain build, browser versions against it. It was tested. Maybe resolutions against it was tested. All sort of minor details and OS versions. So right now, the major concern is that we have absolutely no information if you look into the tickets. So this is a major problem because in the future, if you want to go back and address something, let's say if you want to look into the logs, there is no way to look into the logs. So we need to take this as a major action item and get this fixed. So then we have, let's go back to the previous slide once again. So there are some more items. Now another aspect is now we have earlier our screens were not done by, let's say, a dedicated UX engineer. Now we have a dedicated UX engineer, and any new screen that we're doing, this is done by a UX engineer. But we are again something that we're missing is the UX from the UX engineer, we get one set of designs which is approved, and that goes for development. So what is expected is we get exactly the same screens because it goes through lot of iterations and back and forth to get each and every screen designed. But something that we're missing right now is that these screens, first of all, they get during the development. Obviously, these screens get changed a little bit. It could be it could be a possible. I mean, it could be because of improvements that we figured out, or could be because of some things that we cannot implement during the implementation. In such scenarios, what we need to do is we need to have change requests created, and those change requests should be acted upon first, and then we need to deviate from the UX designs. But right now, what is happening is we are not tracking these differences from the design and implementation, and we need to work on this. And the reason why this is being mentioned in the DexUI is because we're starting to work on the next, and we're working on the NFT store, and we cannot have these smaller gaps in those projects. So we need to start from the DexUI. So any deviation from the UX designs, it has to undergo a change request process. So some of the new screens that we have done for the Dex UI, the labels are incorrect, and things are very confusing. For example, there is a screen which says Bitcoin address generation, where the design was originally saying it was supposed to be Bitcoin deposit address creation. So these are major issues because, uh, for example, if you look at the take the example of Bitcoin Bitcoin deposit screens or withdrawal screens, it has 10 to 12 steps, and these 10 to 12 steps are combined into a small screen, and it's extremely confusing. So we tried out with some people who has deep experience with Bitcoin and currencies. Even they're not able to figure out which what exactly these screens are doing. So we have to work on these UX changes and make sure that any change it is tracked efficiently. Another point is we have Elk setup, which is Elasticsearch, Logstash, and Kibana. This has been set up for closely 1.5 years, but this is not getting used. Uh, so this is something we really have to start using because apart from some of the blockchain tickets where logs are manually collected and posted, we don't have any historical information regarding what happened during uh, any of the bug verifications or feature verifications. So this is again something we need to take seriously and work on. The last point is the environment that is given for QA. So right now, one of our challenges is that we have two kind of official testnets. One is Irona and another one Yammer. So in the case of Irona, which is supposed to have Bitcoin Suns, it is not having Bitcoin Suns for a very long time. So so this is another item which we need to work on and fix. So these are this is quite important because this is not just impacting our ability to address issues in the future, and we are also losing visibility and transparency. So we have to we'll keep this particular action item open, and in the next few weeks, we'll make sure that this is addressed. Now, rest of the screens, these screens, we're talking about the DexUI's progress. Let's skip the next two slides.
I have a comment, Bobinson. Can we show this progress one more time? So currently, this progress reflects the tickets that are complete, but we currently have a bunch of tickets, around 14 tickets in the testing stage, and they hopefully will be complete today. So today, they will, by the end of the day, we should have way more completed tasks and way better progress than right now. This diagram shows the state on on Thursday evening. Okay.
Okay, thank you. So this is again, we'll skip this slide because this gives, we talked about it. Okay, now, so this particular screen, this is our tracking, uh, where we are trying to track the exact progress. So this is in the early stages, and some of, if you look into the earlier processes like LLD updates and all those are kind of irrelevant for this project, but generally going forward in all the projects, we'll be having these detailed tracking. Okay, let's go to the next slide. So in the next, in this slide, we have the historical tracking. This will hopefully uh, get combined into the previous screen, the Gantt charts and visualization, the new type of visualization that we're using. So again, this gives our historical progress from November when we started using this tabular format for tracking. Okay, let's go to the next item. Okay, the next UI, which is our newly designed Dex interface. So this is coming along pretty well, even though the progress is kind of the charts are not showing much. So we have been working on the setup, and we have been identifying various libraries like the Bitcoin library, and for the Hive and SPD deposit, we first we were thinking about just using some providing some instructions, but now we are thinking of using um, the Hive keychain based deposit. So those are coming along pretty fine, and in the next few weeks, we'll be able to demonstrate some more progress here.
I also have a comment right now. So we currently need more developers, new hands, and for next project. So we are doing very extensive recruiting. We are looking for new React developers. Also, I hope people who are currently doing Dex UI will become available for next, starting from next week, and they will have more developers and better progress.
Okay, thank you. So this is again our charting. This particular information, I believe it's getting much better. And this is next is the first project where we started tracking with our new tracking methodology, and it's looking it's much better. Even though I think the estimates needs to go in, and because some of the items like earlier the initial screens, it looks like our estimate is on the lower side. So uh, so we need to improvise those. One reason why we're not providing the exact estimate from day one is because we're not let's say this is we're not following a like a gate or waterfall kind of mechanism where everything is projected first. So these projections are kind of indicative. Okay, let's go to the next slide. Okay, Dexbot. So for this project, we have finally managed to connect to the uh, Peerplays testnet, the YAML testnet, and we are able to place orders. So far, it is just orders because the trades are not happening because we have not yet created additional tokens or user issued assets. So once we we have that, we'll start seeing the trades as well. And we also had the initial release ready, which essentially changed a lot of API endpoints and also fixed few bugs. And some changes to the underlying libraries are also made to make it work. So the alpha release is available, and in the upcoming weeks, we will have a we'll conclude some more testing, and the idea is to come up with some strategies, some trading strategies, and then release it to the wild. So it's going to be a desktop application. I think a lot of people familiar with the BitShares community is already familiar with the tool. So it's going to be a desktop app, and anybody who wants to provide liquidity can run them and run these tools and provide liquidity. Okay, let's move on to the next slide. The Okay, so our blockchain upgrades. So here again, we're kind of working on various existing outstanding issues and trying to improve our stability. There are various tickets which is improving logs, and in some tickets we are trying to uh, provide better debug information, etc. And some of the items that we need to start working on immediately is so we have challenges with respect to the SEDMQ or the Bitcoin nodes connectivity. So the Bitcoin node so as I had pointed out in the case of the Irona testnet, what's happening is in many times the SEDMQ interface which the Bitcoin node exposes, it's not functional, and we are not able to identify that from the Peerplay side. Not just from the Peerplay side, even if you just try to debug it, it's extremely complicated. So the end result is that when somebody tries to create a Bitcoin deposit address, it's not getting created. And also there are problems with the UI, because the UI is not able to figure out whether the the 0MQ communication is happening or not. So that is one item which we need to work on. Another challenge we have is unlike the Bitcoin deposit and withdrawal process, the Hive and SPD withdrawal process is slightly different. So there are scenarios where the deposit and withdrawal can fail. In such scenarios, we need to provide a mechanism to manually recover the failed deposits. So those some of those items are pending, because these two are right now happening on the mainnet, and those are to be addressed. So those are some of the major items being worked on the blockchain side. And we're also starting to work on the ETH Suns. Like the initial workers started on both ETH Suns, and we're also looking into uh, create a universal adapter sort of mechanism, which will help us to connect with various chains or external data sources. So we have started exploring these ideas as well. Okay, in addition to these updates, from the grant proposal, uh, we have some interesting uh, inputs which can, let's say, easily write um, like minimal plugins or contracts, and also create side chains to Peerplays. So those are some of the items which we are evaluating right now. So at this point, we're not sure how exactly we can use this in the Peerplays mainnet, but it looks like uh, the BAL, which is the blockchain abstraction layer, it's essentially adding some additional data structures or storage locations to our chain, which can be used to perform minimal contract or minimal logical operations, uh, similar to something that we see in a relational database. So we are exploring these interesting ideas as well. Okay, let's go to the next slide. Okay, this shows our typical progress. So let's skip this slide. Okay, this is an interesting slide. This shows our ongoing progress, monthly progress. So again, here the numbers are pretty low in terms of the progress, but we are actually working on some interesting and major bug fixes like the corruption of the blockchain file and some other features which will help us. I'm not. Yeah, the ZMQ features, etc. The ZMQ feature which I mentioned, etc. So even the numbers looks pretty small. I believe this will have a huge impact on our stability. That's on the blockchain updates. Let's move on to the next slide. Okay, JS library. The only item which is being pending right now is the Hive related changes. So that's being worked on. Okay, let's go to the next slide. Okay, so that's all from the development team. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Webmaster and Harry. Now we start with the marketing updates for Michael.
Hello, everybody. Happy Friday. Marketing updates for this week are we've continued the rollout of the new peerplays.com website with updates ongoing. We should start to see more of that coming online in the near future with respect to the community aspects of it and the forums and chat availability with respect to it as well. We're going to be opening up the blog aspect shortly in the next couple weeks as well, where our long form articles will also be housed and thus indexed and allow us to have better search visibility going forward as well. I've created a Peerplays community outreach survey, which is currently in internal review. The purpose of this is to get a sense of the demographics of our Peerplays community, who's involved, how long they've been involved, do they own PPY and go from there. And then on top of that, we also want to get a sense of what they think of what we're doing, what they'd like to see us doing, what they don't want to see us doing, and if there are any other tokens that we could potentially align ourselves with through the Suns. So that's going to probably get released on Monday or Tuesday next week, using a lot of different channels in order to get a wide reach. And then I will summarize the information in a presentation in one of these meetings within about 2 to 3 weeks, probably, just to kind of give an update as to what was happening with the community and what they want. We have the ongoing brand images, brand voice, and content strategy project that's been going on. There's been a lot of work that's been done this week. We spent a good amount of time on setting up how to reach the goals that we've determined for our social media posts and how we're going to reach those and in what way. The big one goal that we have is to increase our engagement, and then it will be to drive our traffic to the website as well as the next one going forward, so that we're able to build the community. So the strategy is all being built around how to do that, and to be an educational force and to be seen as a thought leader in the blockchain space. So those are our major content strategies, and everything we'll be doing will be aligned with those strategies going forward. So we're in the process right now of just setting up how to reach those goals, what kind of content we're going to go. As a result, I've been investigating some new tools to increase the productivity of the marketing department and facilitate communication around content creation. So just looking at different tools that there could be for like content calendars or discussions of ideas, collaborations on ideas, and that sort of thing going forward. That'll be an ongoing investigation to find out what the best resources that we can have in place to use, so that we can put out the best content and be as successful in our goals as we can be. That's the marketing update from my side. I will turn it back to Salah for the performance.
Thank you, Michael. So from my side, from the side of the performance, this is a snapshot of this week's like social media performance. We're starting getting more growth in some social media channels. Some others still have decline in terms of followers and subscribers, but the engagement on some of the like Instagram and LinkedIn is going up. And then with as Michael have stated, with the new content ideas and new brand and image standard, and then we will be having more growth. And once the new ideas will be implemented, we will see more growth. And for the next weeks, we will be adding more KPIs in the performance weekly report, so we can see more KPIs growth throughout the week. This is from the performance side. I will give the next for the collaboration update for Jonathan.
So this is a collaboration update for the past couple of weeks since we didn't get to put one out last week. Starting off with gaming, we had Parlays, NFTs, the Casino 3.0. Had two calls and had iterated further on how Peerplays will be used in their Casino 3.0. It looks like there will be a closed loop token involved, which is like a casino chip, which they're going to be using in various games that they want to host utilizing Peerplays blockchain on it. This will be in addition to the NFTs they plan to use on Peerplays. So there'll be more details on that in the future. The other gaming element was Gaming Benefits Corp with Charitable Gaming. Had communication with them regarding the acquisition of apps, which they'll be using on Peerplays for their backend. And that's all for the regulated charitable gaming suite of products they plan to use. So that's progressing well. And as Robinson mentioned in the update with Follow My Vote, we had an update. We received a report on the blockchain abstraction platform, the BAL for short. BAL is a software development framework for developers wishing to create smart contracts. And so we now, this is all focused on smart contracts, which is part of the blockchain, which are backend solutions. There aren't any apps yet associated with this. You'll still need a front end to make this work. So it's more for developers, not so much for users. So we're still in review of the code implementation and how it could integrate into the mainnet for Peerplays, but that review will take some time. Regardless, the BAL is an interesting technology, and of course, that would be interesting for Peerplays. So those were the three collaborations that we had happen over the last couple of weeks. That's it.
Thanks, Jonathan. So anyone has anything to ask? I guess not. Thank you, everyone.